Hi. So today we're going to put together comfy calf suites panelings. There weren't many tutorials out there for me to learn from, so we kind of had to figure it out, and so I figured we'll make a video of it. So here we got 5 panels high. Finished off with the cap that comes with it. Obviously the end caps that'll go on the very end. I'll show you how to put those all on. Pretty simple, but we'll have a handle on the top part of it, but we'll cover the rest of the hardware on how it all goes together, and we'll build some hutches. So first off, we're going to start with the buckets that come with. You'll find in your boxes the hardware kit that assembles the entire thing. I like to take the bucket and rip the bag open without spilling. Put it all in there, that way you got it all contained, because most of that hardware will be used per each stall. So out of that bucket, we'll start with a handle to the end caps that go on the panelings, on the dividers. So we'll find the handle, which is here. We'll stick it through the 2 holes. Now you only need 1 handle per paneling. We'll dig out 2 washers, slap them on there, 2 lock nuts, and we will get them on there as well. Maybe. Eventually. Okay, so now we have them on. We'll tighten them up so they're just, I like to do it so they're just flush. That way you have lots of handle on the other side. So that one's a little bit further. Back it off. Close enough. So you'll have a handle to pull the paneling out. And then we'll mount that, assemble that onto the dividers. So first off, to set the paneling up, have a stiff floor and a helper. Always helps. Always works better with a helper. So you want to squish them together the best you can, and then once you got them the best you can, then you got to pick it up, slam that in. One more time. So now they're completely together. You're not going to be able to pull them apart. You will be able to slide them now. So you go 5 high. Push the best. You'll know if they're not together, there'll be a gap, a good sized gap in the middle. So 5 panels high, and we put a cap on top. Easiest way to do the cap is to start at one end. Okay. Start at one end and have your assistant slap it down. So you want to line those up the best. Sometimes the caps are a little bit longer than the actual panel. Obviously you want to get those lined up, but this cap will be sometimes longer. Get them even or close to even for the stainless steel end caps. We can start with the handle. So you want to get it on there. Obviously there's a difference here in height. You don't want them sticking above, because you'll find a lot of problems later on when you go to remove these panelings after they are installed. So you want to have them below the top. Then take a drill, simple as that. Drill through, and the bolts that you'll find in the bucket. Take it through. Nuts. And voila. Then you'll want to go to the next one, obviously. Once you have all three in, then you can tighten it. Pair of vice grips on one side. You don't want to over tighten it. There's no need, because each nut has a plastic locker on it. So there's no need to over tighten them. Get them so they squeeze a little bit, and that's it. And you go to the other side and do the other end without the handle. You don't need two handles on it. Okay, so what I did not explain was there is a right and the wrong way to put these nuts and bolts through the stainless steel, and the wrong way is whatever way it goes with your hinge hardware, the post, the actual post. So if your hinge, you want your hinge on the head side, the bolt head side, because when this paneling slides through, when it slides through here, it'll slide past the head once it's all lined up and done, but it will not slide past the nut and the bolt that sticks out that side. So you have to determine which side you are going to have the gates on, which side the gates are going to be on. So that is going to decide on, that's going to determine on which way the bolts are going to go through. So make sure, because it's not fun to try to yank it out or to take it back apart to put it the right way. Okay, so now we have the gate assembly. We're going to mount the buckle holders, and if you do the bottle holder kit, we'll mount that on there as well. So you have to determine which way the gate is going to hinge. Obviously, you don't want the bucket holder on the wrong side. You want it on the outside of the pen. In this case, we are going from this way. So with our bottle holder, this actually slips through the slot and props up like that. And with those kits, you'll get another bag of hardware. And again, with that, I open it up, and these you will not use with this gate unless you want it in a different custom spot, but we don't use those, so we're going to disregard those. So you'll need 2 bolts, 2 nuts, 4 washers, and you'll want to slip it through the back. Well, first off, you want to put a washer on. You want to put a washer on and go from the pen side to the front side. You're not going to want to go the opposite way, because the calves will suck on anything and everything in that area. So you don't want to give them something sharp to rub their gums on. Eventually, I'll get that on there. Maybe. Or not. There we are. Alright. So, washer. Let's slide it around, get it in the right spot. Washer, and then nut. And then you tighten them up. Again, you can tighten those as much as you want. They do have plastic lockers on there, so it's not necessary to go way over. And then with the bucket holders, you'll want to do in the first bag of hardware, you'll find the bolts, washers, and again the lock nut with another washer. And on this one here, you want to go through, washer first, you want to go through this way. And this actually you'll want to face the calf only because of the buckets will not fit nicely down in if you have the end of the bolt hanging out. I'm missing one. Anyhow, that's what we'll do with that. And oh, here it is. Put those on, and you'll be good. Tighten them up. Again, those have lock. Those are lock bolts, lock nuts. Tighten them up, and you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to show you a rough assembly. Obviously, I'm not going to drill and tap into this floor, but when you are where you want them, you'll start with the posts. So you won't have the paneling, but you could do the paneling in there to hold these, because it is kind of a nice anchor way to hold. You'll get one side in, maybe not. So that'll determine your top width. Obviously, there's 4 foot between each one. And then for your bottom, they send along these spacers, and these are just temporary, or you could leave them permanently. We take them out, and they go in each slide, like that. So then you can go right down through the entire barn and get your spacing correctly. You obviously want these panelings pulled ahead some, about 1 foot on each side. So you would then, once you have your row assembled and lined up wherever you're going to place them, then you go back through, drill and tap into the concrete, and both sides, and you can get rid of this. You won't need it after that. I've seen some people leave it in there to contain the sawdust. There really isn't any other use for it, but yeah, how's that? All right, so now we have our handy dandy latch, 2-way latch, which is phenomenal. We, again, you could open this up, put it in a bucket. There's really no need because you're going to use all of it all at once. You actually have to assemble the gate, or the latch. So on top, you'll see the 2 extra tabs. You'll want to have those together. So they'll actually be together once you, so instead of trying to figure it out which way's up, which way's down, the 2 tabs are on top, not outside. They gotta go in. So they're gonna look like that. Let's take the bolts. The head's gotta go on the back side because these will be pressed against the paneling. So you don't want the threaded side going against the paneling because it could eventually pop through it. So shove it up through, put the nut on, you get your vice grips, or a wrench, whatever you want, doesn't matter. Whoop, you gotta have the right side. How's that? These you don't want to tighten too far. They still have the plastic lock on it. If you over tighten it, you will actually tighten it so far that it won't swivel. So just go so the plastic is caught And there's the heads that will be sticking out the backside. So then, to determine where you want this latch, it does look kind of wobbly, but once you tighten that all up, those heads, like I said, will actually be pressed into the plastic. So determine where you want the latch. Take a gate. Okay. Is there a hammer right there? I grab the big silver thing. How's that? That'll work. Yep, no, you had it right. Crescent wrench. When you don't have a hammer, you grab the next best thing. Okay, so normally they don't go on that hard, but obviously I had some burrs on that. So, and this is going to be a little bit wobbly because obviously we're not anchored down. So, you get the gate. We're just doing good here. You get the gate as level as you can. Find out roughly about where the latch is. Have the gate so it's flush with the front paneling, or the spacing. So you know where this is. Then I go to the back side. Measure in, measure down, and go from there. I go to the back side and I'll drill through to that's what these are for. These will go, you want to show this? These will go on either side on either side of this. And they'll go through that latch at the same time on the other side, if you're following. So you'll drill, it always seems like it's about 2 inches down from that third crack. 2 inches down, you get this thing nice and level. That's the speedy way that we found out how to do it. We don't measure it each time and get it level. Get this tower level, measure 2 inches down, start drilling, holes on each side, plug it through. And then you'll be putting the lock washer on once it's all the way through the paneling and the tower. And that's what holds the tower from wobbling. You'll anchor it all together. So let's say you understood all that. And you have the latch assembly, the gate on. Sometimes the gate doesn't always land perfectly, so sometimes you got to pick the gate up. Once it's all together, it really doesn't matter. It will line up nicely. Okay, so we're going to leave that. So now we're going to go back here. Of course, we're going to have 2 buckets. Got to have your beautiful assistant place 2 buckets in each gate. And with them closed, you'll have a happy calf here. Obviously, I don't have a bottle right here with me to put in there, but to go to the back, if you did not purchase their backs, we used 16, 12, 10 foot tubed gates, and we mounted these onto the gate. We did not put these up against the wall. The ends of these pens, we did not mount them on a concrete wall. We mounted them on a gate, so that way we would have airspace from the front and back. And so you'd select the right hole, whichever works out for you. Drill it, bolt it onto the gate, and those bolts do not come with the hardware kit. We use 5/16, I think 2.5 inches is what we ended up using to mount these stationary to the tubed gate that is going across all the backs. So let's say you had that done on the tube gate every 4 foot, because that's what the center of these backs are. You then would slide the gates up into the paneling. You then would take the pin, and if you're flush, if the gate's pressed up against here, you obviously drill your hole with the right size bit. Place the pin through with a cotter pin on the other side that comes with it, and that securely hangs on to the paneling from side to side and from front to back. But some gates are different, so they give you a little variance on holes. Or you could drill and tap that into concrete walls, but we chose not to do that for airflow, so we had air in the front and back. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understood everything. If not, you can comment, and I will do my best to respond to you. But that is what we found out through our experience. And make sure you subscribe if you can, and give a thumbs up, as always. Turn on the notifications so you get any more other videos that we'll put together. But hopefully you can hear me all right. We're kind of in our big utility room. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that helps. You guys, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understood it. If you do have questions, please comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But other than that, thanks again.